Keep moving. It's my boys versus the Newcastle Knights. It is at home. It is Saturday, 3 p.m. at Newcastle Stadium. I'll throw it across to you. Talk to me about the Newcastle Knights.
In previous weeks, they've been looking a bit up and down. It's a bit hard to take, but as I go into the team list, on paper they're brilliant, but when I get out into the paddock, they're just a bit in the hit and miss. So we got Kalen Ponga at fullback, Dominic Young, Dan Gagai, Bradman Bass, Emma Gould. No, it's the wrong person. E.T. I'm going to call him E.T. from now on. Tyson Gamble, Jackson Hastings, Daniel Saifidi, Phoenix Crossland, Leo Thompson, Dylan Lucas, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Adam Elliott, Kurt Mann, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, Matt Kroger, Jack Johns as the 18th man, Simi Sagi, Brody Jones, Lachlan Miller, and Adam Clune to round out the extended bench. As I touched on before, they went hard at Brisbane last week, which probably up until the 78th minute, it was all theirs for the win right until the end, but it's not over until the fat lady sings and they come home with a loss. But as I quickly looked down at the week prior to, which they didn't play because of the bye, the week before they hosted Manly and looked really, really well in a good game there. So as I said, they've been up, they're down, they've got the fight, they've got the hunger to keep going, but will that fade away with more losses on the trot to come?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is a strong squad. Obviously, the notable outs for this side, obviously, Frizzell, he will be in Origin, and Greg Marshew will not play this week. But they do welcome back, obviously, if they use him, they've got Lachlan Miller in the extended bench. Lachlan Fitzgibbon comes back. Sasagi on the extended bench is a massive in for this side. But they do have a strong squad. They've still got Kalen Ponga. They've got Jackson Hastings leading this team around. And obviously Tyson Gamble is obviously playing good football at the moment. But let's look at the side they're playing. It is my boys. We have definitely had a very down season. But this could be the move that does turn it around. We'll talk about it as we go through it. But obviously, Joseph Manu does go into fullback. Obviously, that probably would have been Suaalii is suspended. And James Tedesco is obviously out with Origin. So you got Joey Manu, Daniel Tupu, Corey Allen, Billy Smith, and Junior Parga in the back line with Luke Keary and Sandon Smith to get his NRL starting debut. You've then got Hargraves, Turpin, both Butcher brothers. You then have Satili Tupanua and Nafua White comes from New South Wales Cup into the 13 starting position. You got Drew Hutchinson on the bench with Nathan Brown, Terrell May, and Angus Crichton. You've got CR1, Zach Docker-Clay, Jackson Paulo, Katoa, and Ellie Ezsakam on the extended bench. So a few changes, obviously, to the Roosters lineup, but did go down to Penrith. Like I said, there wasn't many options. Manu was going back to fullback. It does mean that Sandon Smith goes into the 7. I was at the game last week. Sam Walker was walking along the field. He did not look quite comfortable. He's in a brace. He's gone and got more checkups and more scans to see how that knee/ACL is going. So I'm sure we'll get a report in the next couple of days. But notable out, James Tedesco, as mentioned, Lindsay Collins and Matthew Lodge has been dropped. So Baxter, I'll throw it to you. Talk to me about this Roosters side. Throw it back. I'll give my prediction first on this one. But you take it away, talk about this squad, and then throw it back to me.
Yeah, you're looking very un-Rooster-like. Because in previous years, you could say 2 games on the trot of a loss is not much of a big deal. In the Roosters scheme of things, you could say it was just a bad timing of Origin. You've got players out. You could have just said it was the luck of the night. You just got outbeat. But you have a sort of a round 1, you lose the Dolphins. Round 2, you come up to host the Warriors, you win. Sam Walker improves on his defense, and I think he was really good on his part in defense. You drop him because you want to see if the reason why your attack is a bit clunky is because of him. It hasn't worked that way, and in result, he's been injured in reserve grade, unfortunately. And and at the time where you need now him most, he's obviously injured. And look, you got Luke Cleary back at 6, Sandon Smith to the 7 to cover for the injured Sam Walker. You just need to get your players back all together, playing as one. I know Joseph's covering for Teddy at the moment, but I've always said Manu's best position is being a centre. I've previously stated on this pod that, Michael Maguire, the coach of the Kiwi team, has even said Joseph is not a 6; he's more of a centre. But international level, I think they got better centres there, so they put him to 6, and he is explosive in that regard. But it's, as I said before, when you play Penrith at Penrith, I think you are afraid to go outside the structure, and it's like you don't want to play that outside of the box football, which is Sam Walker. And obviously that's not the way you want to play. So it's just like structure. We can't go away from it, and teams are quickly finding out how you're playing and how to counteract that, and you're just getting beaten on the park through the middle, around on the edges as well, and especially on the scoreboard. And as I said, on my scoreboard, you're sitting, was it 15th at the moment? Oh, not 15th, 13th. Yeah, 13th on my ladder. Take away all the buy points, with a negative 90 for and against, which is un-Rooster-like as well. Can you turn it around and play finals football? It has to start now. We are 11 rounds away before the end of the regular season. Can you do it? I think you got 2 more buys left, so that only means you got 9. You got 1. So okay, so you got 10 rounds after today to turn your season around. 10 games ago, including to this game. Sorry, to turn your season around now. 30 points plus the 12 that you're already on, which brings you up to 42 plus an extra 2 for the buy, so it's 44 points. Could that see you finals football? Hopefully we can see that at the end of the season we see Roosters playing final football, because in a world that you and I have lived in, I don't believe we have seen Roosters not playing final football. Obviously, that one.
I've seen us win the wooden spoon.
I've seen you once, and we could talk about it. Your coach Trent Robertson even went to the, Uncle Nick and said we're going to have a bad year this year, or we have a bad 3 years, and he said I'd rather have a one bad year instead of 3. So you did poorly there, but other than that, I've seen you always play some type of final football, whether it's week 1, week 2, or it's grand final week in the early 2000s as well. So you just need to turn it around. That's my thought on it. But I'm going to go with the home team, the Knights. I think that Origin is a grace period for them. Obviously, you have lost a lot of players. Knights have still got their main and the whole squad together. They're playing really good. Now, the Kalen Ponga is at fullback. They've got I believe the halves pairing correct in Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings. I said it when he was knocked out, and they had Lachlan Millie at fullback. I think the Knights can do it in a close 1-12 here.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think as a Roosters fan, it's disappointing. Obviously, we've got all these fancy toys, and they're just not clicking. So obviously, there is a lot to that. You can blame Chi saying he's not the hooker, but I think there's a lot more issues than just that. The attack's not firing. Like you mentioned previously, we have the worst attack in the competition, and we have the 10th ranked defense. So very un-Roosters like. They're not playing good football. Does this mix things up, change things? I don't know, but it's definitely something where we've been saying we want Luke Keary back. It's not Luke Keary, it's Sandon Smith, but at least that does put Joey Manu into a position where he can, I guess, dominate in a sense. He has shown that he can be a world-class fullback. It then allows the other players around. Daniel Tupu is back. Suoliti will be back soon. Sam Walker hopefully is back soon. But obviously, going into this game, it's quite unheard of. Newcastle's $1.55 favourites to the Roosters, $2.45. So it's a massive, massive game for both these sides. Crazily thinking that when all the buys run up, the Roosters, even your Cowboys, as bad as the seasons they've had, they're 2 points outside the top 8 as it stands. Once all the buy points come in, or if you take them away, whichever way you want to do it. If there was no buys, if there was all buys, they'd only be 2 points outside the top 8. So it's not all doom and gloom, but like you said, I think if they don't turn it around soon, we live in a world where we don't play finals football this year. But I do hold on to that small hope that we had to win 8 straight last year just to make into the finals. So if you can get them firing, you can get them moving right, hopefully we can play finals football. But Baxter, I'm going to go the upset in this one. I'm going to go to Roosters. I'm going to back my boys in here. I'm going to go 1-12. Yes, we are missing Tedesco. We are missing Collins. But I think them obviously missing Frizzell and Greg Marshew, I think that kind of evens it up. One big player, one of your back line, both missing. So I think that can even it up. But